anywhere in the southern hemisphere, or Earth model, the land masses closest to the outer ring.
So I spend day after day looking at the plane finder global map. I need to watch a few as they cross either the South Pacific or Indian Oceans. For the first 30-45 days, I was just holding my breath. I wait for an ocean plane. And I wait, and I wait, and I wait some more. Hours pass, days pass, and no red planes to entertain me. And before I even got the first 5 clues out, people started responding to me. Someone said, I want to talk to you about this. In fact, it was a debunker site, a small-time debunker. We went into it, and then he started reviewing the clues, and next thing you know, he was on my side, and then another podcast picked up on him, and then it just started leapfrogging.
We have Mark Sargent.
Your organization was amazing.
Hi, Mark Sargent.
Hi.
Who better to bring on than our very up-and-coming, quick-rising star, Mark Sargent?
Now I go into chat rooms and people freeze. Mark Sargent's here. Come on, just be normal, be cool. I didn't want to wake up and do this. It was something that just seemed to happen. I didn't choose Flat Earth. Flat Earth chose me. So I spend day after day looking at the plane finder global map. I need to watch a few as they cross either the South Pacific or Indian Oceans. I wait for an ocean plane.
I first heard of people thinking that the Earth was flat, in elementary school, but in the context of history. I think it was in the last couple years that I heard that people are still believing this and making a lot of videos on it. So I started watching them because I was curious, and it's something.
Yeah, what's this guy doing? Seems to be going south. Where are you going, buddy? Where are you going, friend? Yeah, where's that coming from, if not the southern hemisphere? This is a very easy test to perform.
I'm not sure when I first heard about flat earthers. It was probably about 5 years or so ago. Probably on the internet, I'm sure.
I saw an article maybe 6 months ago. I found it fascinating because I'm like, if these people can pull it off, they're probably really, really smart.
First time I ever heard about flat earthers was when I was in space last, and I saw the stuff on social media. I can't believe I'm talking about this.
How do flat Earth conspiracy theories make you feel, Leo? You feel positive about that?
I think someone told me maybe that there's still people who believe that the Earth is flat. And so I Googled, and then you find websites and YouTube videos.
879 videos? This man is prolific.
And I was fascinated, and I just jumped right in, and I was probably in that spiral for 3 or 4 hours, and I ended up subscribing to a podcast, a Flat Earth podcast, and listening.
This, like others in the series, is something you can just
Riveting. I would watch this
out
for
for
hours.
yourself.
They're wacky. They're bizarre.
Logical.
But yet they find this audience that believes them, takes them as gospel. There's enough of them, they can't just all be people wandering around with tinfoil hats all the time. These are fairly normal people, at least some of them.
We go in a little sports bar. A bartender runs over, and she goes, "You guys talking about flat Earth?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" She goes, "High five."
You go into the office. Is someone a flat earther? You go to a restaurant. Is the person making your
We're like
food
a virus.
flat?
We're
I
everywhere.
don't know.
The very next day, I'm flying out, and I'm wearing a I Am Mark Sargent shirt. And you know where they go through the bag screens. This tall black kid, he motions me, like in Fight Club. "You Mark Sargent for real?" I go, "Yeah, why?" And he goes, "I'm not kidding you." He winks at me, and he goes, "That's my name, too." And he hands me the bag without even checking it.
They're everywhere.
Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine. 5 years ago, I started doing this whole brain power program, bouncing balls off hammers, working on my penmanship, working on my memory. Titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. And about 14 months ago, my brain coach, Michael Lavery, said, Nathan, you got to look into flat Earth. And then the more I researched it, and then I found out that it's actually the biblical cosmology is a geocentric cosmology. Then I realized why they're hiding the truth. It's because they don't want anyone to know anything. They want people dumb, blind, deaf to the truth, so they can inject you with their vaccines and their public schooling and this heliocentric model, which is basically forced sun worship. Did you know they made up dinosaurs? People in the school system to perpetuate this 6 billion year old Earth. Oh, wait, the math doesn't work out. 14 billion year old Earth.
So I actually ran into a NASA employee at Starbucks, asked him why NASA means deceive in Hebrew. Technically, it's the word nashah, but it sounds so similar.
You hate Americans? Is that it? Excuse me? Yeah, how the hell did you get that? Well, I just got kicked out of Starbucks for asking NASA employee questions. I ended up getting kicked out of a bunch of Facebook groups, so then I started the group, the official Flat Earth and Globe discussion. It was slow start at first. I just added all my friends and said, hey, talk about Flat Earth. There's no cursing, no insults. That was about 14 months ago, and that's blossomed into 53,000 members. Excuse me, can I ask you a question? Anyone ever told you the Earth is flat? What? I just feel like I have an obligation to tell people you don't live on a spinning ball. I've been telling them for years you didn't come from monkeys. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I run the largest flat Earth group in the world. We're actually filming a documentary about it, so that's how it's done right there. You want to hear some flat Earth music? Next level. I put a flat Earth model on my bezel. I got some good books right here. Firmament, Vaulted Dome of the Earth. George Orwell, 1984, must read. This is Edward Hendry's masterpiece, The Greatest Lie on Earth. I'll just read you a little bit from the table of contents real quick. The first chapter is Samuel Robotham proved the Earth is flat. The idea people have of flat earthers is totally wrong. You know, they think they're total idiots and they live in their mom's basement and they believe everything anyone tells them. It's quite the opposite. We test everything. We're all either super successful or doing our own thing. And I've met hundreds of flat earthers and none of them are living in their mom's basement, so.
No, we're not. There are millions of flat earthers. It's a fantastic community. Look what flat earth has inspired. So I was the first one to do a flat earth license plate. And then just a slew of them. Everybody started coming in with it. They started changing up the words. It's flat to flat earth, NASA lies, all that fun stuff. There's Arizona, Arkansas, California. Probably trying to figure that one out yourself, aren't you? I'll give you 10 seconds. Ready? Perfect. Wow, you're really good. Personalized license plates are not supposed to be negative, but when you look at NASA lies, what do you read?
There's that glow
Nasal
light,
eyes. Could be a freaking hot nose and throat doctor. You don't know. A lot of people realize that if you're a flat earther, you can only date flat earthers once you get into it, because it's too much of a paradigm shift. Yep. So there's now flat earth dating sites popping up. Ever since the whole flat earth thing started, I started getting merchandise in the mail. Flat earth paddleball thing with a globe at the end. It's a clever idea, you know, metaphorically. Have you seen this kitty? His name is Research Flat Earth, and like the curvature of the false globe model, he is missing. Every once in a while, someone will send me a book. It is not light reading. Flat Earth watch. I mean, seriously, Flat Earth can be put on anything. This is a giant version of the license plate of my car. Flat Earth clock. And of course, this thing right here. That's what makes this community different. Because with every other conspiracy, I'm not going to rattle them off, there's always this dark, sinister, evil, people feel bad about it. This thing really makes people, gives people a lot of positive energy, so much enthusiasm, matter of fact, that they make things. They make, I mean, we've got songs.
Well, we did a little research, and we learned about the curvature.
last time somebody made a happy folk song about 9/11?
Patricia. Well, I started in broadcasting, if you can call doing YouTube broadcasting, because my father owned a radio station. We've got the jukebox here that was in the lobby of the radio station when I was growing up. It's a 1973 Wurlitzer 1050. It is original, all original, except for the records, the 45s that are in it. Those are all my records. Morrissey, the lead singer for the band The Smiths, is very close to my heart. He was an inspiration to me when I was very young. The song Meat is Murder changed me to be vegan. He's not a flat earther, but there's still hope. Oh my gosh, I love cats. I don't know why I love them so much. They're beautiful and delicate and selective. Come on, it's good. I have a bunch of conspiracy books, a little vegan section. I have some books that are written by flat earthers, actually. Le Flat Earth. It's all the varying memes about flat earth. Zen Garcia, Firmament, Vaulted Dome of the Earth.
When I was first doing the flat earth stuff, Patricia comes on a podcast. She wasn't making flat earth videos. She wanted to interview flat earthers. She was like the flat earth reporter.
Hello and welcome to Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. Episode number 15, episode number 68, episode number 159. Mark, thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for having me. I could not be more excited about being on this show right now. We started talking on Skype, and we'd have these marathon conversations 3 and 4 hours long, and we just talk.
What happened that day in Flat Earth, what had happened during that past week, anything involving any sort of conspiracy. And then I said to him one day, why don't we just do a show? And I jokingly called them The Secret Show.
Where are you? She's late for everything. She's always late. 5 minutes. 5 of your...
Oh, there he is. Hello. Hey. Are you ready to go?
Ready to go. Keep looking.
Don't save the best stuff for save the best stuff for the show. That's what I meant to say.
I know.
Hello and welcome to Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. This is episode number 174. This is The Secret Show. I'm Patricia Steer, and with me is Mark Sargent. Hello, Mark.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Did you get a chance to see the satellite that went down in Brazil?
Yes, I did see that.
Fascinating.
And it came down on a balloon.
And you say, how do satellites get up there? Balloons. They laugh at you. It's like, okay, well, here's one. Me to you. Let's just talk. Just you and me, shall we?
Okay.
Let's bring it down.
Bring the lights down low.
Yeah.
When we started doing The Secret Show, and even before that, we had a lot of chemistry.
Within, I think, 2 or 3 weeks, she said, hey, she goes, you thinking about coming down to Houston, visiting?
Since I was thinking about anyway moving to Seattle, which had nothing to do with him really, might as well go, check it out, and meet up with Mark to see if there's anything there. A go-see, as you might say.
She came up and we spent a weekend talking and comparing notes and just kind of getting to know each other.
Went on some beautiful scenic walks, went to some restaurants, talked a lot. It was really great. I want to go again. You start with the mail, and I'll go in live chat and see if anybody's actually listening to this show except us.
Something I think could have developed from that, to the point where we were kind of toying with the idea. She was thinking of buying in Seattle. I mean, she was seriously gearing up for this thing.
And it ended up that I didn't end up moving there. Things happened in my life with another romantic relationship.
And then she moved to London for a year.
A few red flags I chose to ignore. Now in retrospect, I see that I should have not ignored them.
Something goes wrong and she turns around and hauls all her stuff, moves all her stuff back at an enormous expense. And her cats. How much it costs to transfer cats to another country? A lot. I know you love cats, but get different cats.
Bro Sanchez says, y'all make a good couple. Quit playing. LOL.
No. Look, there's a reason why we've done the show as many times as we have.
Exactly. We are a couple of friends. We do have love for each other. I mean, I can't really speak for him, but I do have love for him. I've told him this. It's a love I don't really quite understand. It's not like platonic love, and it's not like romantic love. we're both in a cause together, and that is a kind of love.
Of course, the big news for today is the Flat Earth International Conference. The community has grown to such a size that not only are we having meetups on pretty much every given weekend in any major city, but now we're doing an international conference, which is in Raleigh, North Carolina in the fall. So I'm going to be doing the keynote speech on the first day. 90% of the Flat Earth community are in the closet. But now we're almost to that tipping point because now there's celebrity references and there's mainstream media references.
The sky is the limit, probably literally.
Ah, I see what you did there.
When Mark said that they were going to have this conference, and I thought, oh, right. And I said, how many are you expecting, thinking that, 300? Well, shoot, they've already got, 1,000?
There's so many people that are excited. I mean, heck, the VIP thing sold out last night during my show.
I cannot believe how this thing has expanded. If there isn't something to be said for it, then why is it expanding the way it is?
Kyrie Irving, who plays for the Cavaliers, he recently said that he believes the world is flat. Is that a subject that you covered with him? Were you aware of that?
I wouldn't even know how to broach that topic.
Hey, AJ, do you want to talk about how you think the Earth is flat?
I do not think the world is flat. I'm just saying there's some stuff about it.
How do people actually believe the Earth is flat? I'm stumped, Kelly. I don't know how people believe that.
Round Earth or flat Earth?
Yeah.
Round Earth.
You just drew a divide between us. Okay.
Actually, no. Shaq goes the other way. Not debatable. It's flat. Kyrie, flat. Draymond, flat. What is going on in the world?
I often like to say that if you gave me 5 or 10 minutes with you, I can probably tease out some belief you have that your friends would think that that's a little bit strange. We tend to form beliefs based on a couple things. One is our intuitions, just what feels right. Another is our subjective experience. For most of us who look out on the horizon, indeed, it looks flat.
That seems like a reasonable thing. And so you ask, okay, well, why are we saying that the Earth's round? If you don't have someone who's going to give you a satisfying answer, you might well then try to find alternatives.
It's what you can observe. You don't need complicated math formulas to figure out where you live. But the powers that should not be have told us so. And trust us, believe us. And we have. I did. We all did.
Something that you see a lot in science is imposter syndrome, which is a phenomenon where the more you know about a topic, the more you feel like you aren't actually an expert. You feel like you can't possibly be an authority on this. On the flip side, there's something called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
The Dunning-Kruger effect is a psychological finding that people who don't have knowledge or expertise about something tend to have a false confidence that they are, in fact, very knowledgeable about something.
It becomes this tendency to assume that you have all the facts, that what you know is everything that there is to know.
If you get online, you'll see pages and pages of so-called evidence that seems scientific, right? Here's an equation, here's a diagram, and you go, maybe they're onto something there. Then I feel like that's just as good as an opinion of a physicist or a consensus of, 20 physicists.
We've all been brainwashed by scientism, by those priests of a new religion.
Science is just a search for truth, right? Science is a way of thinking, starting at I don't know, then chipping away at the I don't know through evidence with no motive on where it takes you. And you come up with a new idea, and the first thing that's going to happen is 10 people are going to try to figure out why it's wrong. Okay, it's called institutional disconfirmation. So when you have conviction, it's really well earned. So to have a vendetta against that is a little odd.
Science should have wiped us out literally in the first month. And it's the exact opposite. We're not just winning, we're crushing them because they don't know how to address it. Because they're not convinced they can knock it out, they don't want to get into the ring. We've got questions out there which they can't answer.
How much time do you have to spend on every theory that is out there, right? And many times, the things that we're debating are not even theories, either because they're not falsifiable, or sometimes they've already been falsified.
Absolutely ludicrous what they're teaching. You can't feel any of the movement. And they think, we go faster than a bullet through space.
I'd say take physics. I mean, it's just fundamental. I mean, if you're driving in a car and I throw a ball up in the air, where's the ball going to come down? It's going to come down in my hand. Okay, it's not going to fly through the back windshield of my car.
So are there any scientists that are in flat Earth?
No, and they can't be. Once you get to a certain level of education, the education system more or less owns you. You're not allowed to do certain things. I mean, think of a teacher. Teachers have to get master's degrees. Think of a normal educator if they came out and said that, no matter where they were.
Have you had any educators come out?
No.
Are there any established professors like MIT who are being swayed by the arguments of flat?
That are willing to go on the record?
Well, I mean, there's always whistleblowers, you know. There's always some people that...
There are, and even if you're a tenured professor, I mean, if you come out with something like that, you can get drummed right out of your business. So, I mean, obviously there's a very real risk to their livelihood. I work for Denver International Airport as a consultant. I work for several of the city governments. I'm a forensic consultant for the Denver Police Department. I do the town of Lyman's entire IT. There are physics students out there, there's astrophysics students, and they're all arriving at these same conclusions. How is it that they could possibly all be wrong? And my response to that was that they are putting things in a perspective that they've been taught. Nobody wants to admit that they've been fooled, but the reality is it's happened to every one of us.
Confirmation bias is one of the most solid empirical findings in psychology. If I have a belief or an attitude, I will search for instances that confirm what I believe. And also, I find myself in a company with a lot of other people who think the same way as I do.
Of course, we always listen to Bob, because he always just has a really good collection of information.
People think that, defying gravity by taking a microphone and dropping it on the ground and saying, there's gravity. It's like, yeah, there's gravity, bitches. I mean, it's laughable.
Appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
You did an awesome job.
It gives me a little bit of practice, for what I'm going to be doing in Raleigh. Are you going to that by any chance? Are you going to the conference? No. Bummer.
Flat Earth's positive. When flat earthers get together, it doesn't matter their background or whatever, it's like you connect on such a deep level.
Infinite plane, how does that work as far as a dome, celestial?
Yeah, Mark Sargent asked me about that. I'm not going to assume there's a dome until somebody can show me the curvature of the sky. Until I find out otherwise, I'm just going to say infinite. A lot of infighting becomes something of a lot of factions. We can't have agendas diverting us from the fact that we don't know if the world is, in fact, a ball or flat.
As you're looking at the model, you're looking at all different possibilities and making it come together and work. When it becomes about fighting, oh, you're lying about this, or that's not true, to me, that's not productive.
Flat Earth has camps. It is not unified by any degree. 70% of them believe that this is covered by some sort of dome. The other 30% believe that it's not covered and there's just more versions of this outside. I use Michael Bryan as one of the metaphors for how Flat Earth fragmented when it first came out. When he was running away from when he drops his shoe.
He's given us a sign! Oh, he's given us a show!
Instantly, within, I think, less than 90 seconds, a series of religions formed around the dropping of the shoe.
Let us, like him, hold up one shoe and let the other be upon our... Oh, no, the shoe is a sign that we must gather shoes.
Cast off the shoes, follow the goal!
No!
There's a dome. There's no dome.
Infinite plane. It doesn't seem natural.
I guess it's a dome. Hold up the standard! The shoe is a shoe! The standard!
The closed system, you're in a confinement model like the globe was.
Take the shoes and follow him!
There's competition everywhere. And because of that competition, you mix that with a little bit of conspiracy, a little bit of paranoia, people go off the freaking deep end. Matt is one of the, if not the oldest veterans of the Flat Earth community. And so when he throws a temper tantrum, everybody hears it.
This is what you're doing. There's a mutiny going on. The fact that you're here is like raising a red flag.
Who am I? My name is Matt Power. I'm the reason why Edward Snowden spoke up.
When the Flat Earth thing started taking off after the clues were put out, people were calling me asking to interview him because I was one of the only people that knew Matt's phone number. And he's doing the whole aloof artist thing. It's like, oh, no, I don't give interviews. What do you think the follow-up question was? Well, how about you? Do you want to talk about flat Earth? I go, sure, why not? Here's my spiel. Matt lost it. He went atomic. He did a series of videos and called into another podcast and was streaming live, called everybody out. He was convinced that I worked for the government. That you, sitting here now, apparently this is a government safe house, and I am on the payroll. Matt wanted to be the king of flat Earth, but he wanted to do it on his terms.
I started this, fighting the tension that caused the flat Earth. That's how the flat Earth started.
Which is not what happened. Here you just kept growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and his voice just became lost in the wind. To where all of a sudden we started, the conference was announced down in North Carolina, and he was invited. And he said, no, I'm not going to do the comment. Why should I be in a room with you guys? You're nothing without me. That whole song and dance, and that was just annoying. So now it's getting more serious.
Mark Sargent is what I always thought. He's been sent in kind of an intelligence fashion, working with Hollywood. But Mark Sargent's not Mark Sargent. It's Warner Brothers. You idiots. And I told you. Warner Brothers has a deal with the Pentagon and the CIA.
Matt cried and swore that he would have revenge. What's it ever, dude? You're still not coming to the conference. He's just thrashing. He's trying to tear everybody down as he can. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal, but it causes ripples with the ground troops. We're trying to look for stability to get to the point where it's accepted.
Back that it's only 5.5 feet, then that means that the Earth has curvature.
That's a cool experiment, actually, just in general. It's interesting. So I'm trying to think if there's a laser is just going straight.
They're in trouble here. So like a laser, like for your cat, I think would be 5 or even less milliwatts. So this is 3,000 milliwatts. The beam will grow as it gets further. And if you put the expander on, it's supposed to get smaller. The most surprising thing I've learned is how hard experiments are. There's so many things that go wrong. I think I didn't give enough credit to people who do experiments.
Usually they have a way to say, well, I don't believe that evidence. But it's rare that you have something which is performed by them and it's just so obvious. There's just no other way to look at it. So I'm curious to see what happens. It's really going to be interesting, actually, like how they handle it. Yeah.
We as flat earthers feel that we have several smoking guns. Several.
There's no curve, but we don't want to present it yet. We want to have the whole package. Between the laser and the fiber optic gyro, this technology is going to kill the ball.
They would like us to believe that the ball Earth has been proven for a long, long time, but this debate has raged on for centuries.
Here in the U.S., millions are getting ready for a spectacular dance between the sun and moon.
Today's eclipse is a reminder of our place in the solar system, so I hope you're sitting down for this. Despite loads of irrefutable proof, some people still believe the Earth is flat.
Big war right now. Does the eclipse disprove flat Earth? That's the big hot debate. In fact, the Philadelphia Voice, a newspaper, just did their thing, and they contacted me and then off the Globebusters. What they don't know is that the guy from the Philly Voice is also, one of ours.
No, I'm not a secret flat earther.
That line from Spectre, from James Bond, he goes, the thing you should know about us is we have people everywhere.
I might get business cards made up with that now.
If you were here right now, where we are on Whidbey Island, you would still have 93% of the eclipse. To get that extra 7%, we got to drive 3 hours and face a mob of Woodstock proportions. Is that worth it? No, not in my opinion, but we're going to be representing and putting the focus. All we have to do is get the attention of people.
Okay. Love you.
Love you.
All right.
feels like within.
You want my surreal moment of the day? Here it is. 2 years after I make Flat Earth Clues, here we are on one of the biggest freeways in the United States, on the biggest eclipse in 100 years. We're flashing Flat Earth messages. And I had nothing to do with it. This was done by a completely different Flat Earth chapter, and the fact that I'm saying Flat Earth chapter like it's a thing is amazing. I love Flat Earth. I love them. Found out perfect thing for you to film. Ladies and gentlemen,
brainwashing.
Boys and girls, gather round. Here to tell you a tale. Tale of the globe. Oh, it's not a happy story, my friends. This isn't even the biggest one I've seen. The biggest one I've ever seen is down in Raleigh at the National Convention. Go figure, we didn't even pick the city for that. They start launching nukes straight up in 1958. After the third shot, they formed NASA. The media has helped us because they've said, what do flat earthers think about the eclipse? It's great because people want to know. They're curious. Like, what do they think? It's just another part of the firmament, the dome, the display system.
What are your takes then about the moons of Jupiter?
Same thing. I caught his smile when I was talking about the planetarium part, and he wasn't buying it. It's in his head. He may research it, may not. That's what the billboard's for. We're just trying to put the seeds in people's heads. Go to Flat Earth Clues, and any one of those videos in the description, you'll see a link that says Join the Flat Earth Army. Right now, Bob from Glowbusters is launching a weather balloon as we speak. They're hoping to see the eclipse from 100,000 feet. And there it goes.
We're lucky to get that thing even up.
Safe for direct solar viewing. My eyes. Oh yeah, we're getting close now. Second of it. So glad I'm here.
How was the eclipse itself? Did you have a feeling? Was there anything in the air when it happened? Anything weird?
It's like seems like a special effect in a movie that really catches you off guard. It appeared that the sun is self-eclipsing, that there was no three-dimensional object that was moving in front of the sun. And that's what we've been thinking about the moon. So when I saw this, it's like, oh yeah, of course that's what it's doing. New York Times, Seattle Times. There it is. This morning, the South Whitby Record ran a front-page story on the flat Earth. South Whitby grad Mark Sargent has been known for many things. Once it was for homemade fireworks. Another time, he was the digital pinball champion of the world. Today, he is a leading figure of the flat Earth movement. Yes, he really believes the Earth is a disc. Then on the inside cover, you actually have the editor's column, and he only wrote one thing this week called "The World is Not Flat, the News Isn't Fake." I met with a conspiracy theorist this week, a bona fide flat earther. He's utterly and unequivocally wrong. So why promote a theory the vast majority of people find ridiculous?
I haven't told a lot of people that this is what Mark is into, because I'm thinking they're just going to think we're screwy.
I don't want to put you on the spot, but like, do you agree?
That the earth is flat?
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, I want to see that it is proven that it is not flat. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. Well...
Good answer. I didn't even coach her on that one.
No, and I will tell you, since we've done this for what, 3 years? Two and a half years.
Not even.
And my prayer has been continually that truth will be revealed.
All of us have that tendency to want to connect to people around things that make us unique. One thing we know is that human beings feel very threatened when we feel that identity being taken away.
Joining the club often comes as a relief because they can finally identify with other like-minded people. For the first time, they're not different and no longer alone.
Oh, I got something for your sign. Jack, stay flat, something like that.
Defacing a harmless globe? I was proud to do it. I'm excited to be a part of it. This is a flat earth meetup, and they flew me down for this because I'm infamous. Because I'm real. That's what everyone said. They want to shake my hand and make sure that they touch me. That sort of thing. Like it's like, oh yeah, he's a real guy. He's not just a voice on a video.
Alright, so welcome to the Wolf's Cup. You're here for an Astronomy on Tap. So what this is, it's a monthly outreach event. We've got 2 astronomy talks related to something that's going on in research, something that's going on in JPL, something that's been in the news. Lastly, but not leastly, we have an extra large NASA swag t-shirt.
Let's see some cool Bob Ross. Yep, that's some eyes.
So I'm going to talk tonight about my favorite now dead spaceship to see me.
I stayed up all night to watch the last data transmissions come in. I was sitting there with my dogs looking at me like, why is the light still on? Why are we still awake?
I'm Mark Sargent. Oh, God. Sargent.
So the Mark Lover is going to talk about dismantling the scientific superiority complex.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing? So I'm going to talk about flat earthers real quick.
The problem I see is actually not from the side of the conspiracy theorists. It is actually from our side, from the side of science. Very often it's difficult not to look down.
I was so frustrated about getting told I was an idiot. So I decided to say, laugh at me all you want, because science is different than the shit they're believing. I've already lost friends and stuff. So I felt so good when I made the shirt.
The friend said, sometimes the only way to change somebody's mind is to shame them. And I say, I don't think that is the last resort ever. This is the same as saying that if a kid doesn't get a particular subject, it's not your fault as their teacher, it is their fault. I do not believe that. It's just that you haven't developed your empathy to be able to see from their point of view where they're getting stuck.
We can't blame it all on people just being delusional or the C word, which is the crazy word. I think a lot of times we say crazy and it's a scapegoat, it's an umbrella term, right? How many people in here have been called crazy before?
I have shared it with my mother, my daughter, 2 guys who I was dating who didn't want to date me anymore after I told them about my belief in the flat earth.
I have 4 children. My sons are grown. Them and their mother, who's my ex-wife, kind of think Dad's a little gone off his rocker.
I just finalized a divorce. I no longer speak to my parents, my brother, or anybody else other than people that are interested in doing truth research.
The worst case scenario is you just completely push these individuals at the fringe of society, and then society just lost them.
And you would say to yourself, well, why would you pursue something if you're going to have a falling out with your blood relatives? What's important is truth.
People giving strange looks, that's fine. If you're not hurting them, let them think what you want. They're just asleep, going through life. They're just background noise.
I do find Mark to be a hero, but you're so lovely for doing that for everyone, and it is so touching. But
give me a hug.
It just,
give me a hug.
You're laughing.
I decided just to give it to you.
No, you don't have to give me this. Yeah, give me the pin. I've got apparently a swag bag that's happening.
Do you get lots of stuff?
Not not like this.
Truthers, flat earthers, anti-vaxxers. When we leave people behind, we leave bright minds to mutate and stagnate. These folks are potential scientists gone completely wrong. Their natural inquisitive and rejection of norms could be beneficial to science if they were more scientifically literate.
Let's take the metaphor of argument is war. One side wins and the other loses. If my opponent feels he's better than me, that's intolerable to me. So I'll not listen to what he says. Already when he's talking, I'll be planning my counterattack. Another way of thinking about it is, let's go and explore together. And this exploring together takes us to another place than argument.
So every flat earther shouldn't be held with the contempt, but serve as a reminder of a scientist that could have been, someone that fell through the cracks. And we as ambassadors of science are called upon to do more, right? So here we are, the call to action. This is the ask, right? So scientists of varying degrees of professionalism seriously consider becoming a mentor to someone who is coming from a non-traditional point of entry to the sciences.
If you're not willing to engage with them, you can't expect them to change.
You just hope that they will meet you even halfway, but often when you push them to the corner, it takes a lot of effort for them to even move one step towards you.
Those make pretty good waves. Sharon, nice to meet you. Your name? Bob. Could use your help too. We're gonna maybe have you guys do the middle station. We have these panels. We're gonna try the panels instead of, I think, the posts. Okay, we're gonna get the leveler right now. See a red line right around where that green is? This way a little bit. To your right. Press it once to turn on, then double press it. Okay, hold on. Right there. This is the light that you see.
It might be that big, you're saying?
I don't think so. I think it'll be under a foot for sure. And then we're gonna have one of these panels in the middle, and then when we have both ones hitting at the same height, then we'll move the panel in between. The middle people will. And then wherever it crosses the panel, that's it. Where's the...
We're ready.
I got a big beam so that you're going to see it. I just want to make sure you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it, but it's going to hide. Yeah. Go up a little bit.
Up a little bit.
Up a little, there. Yeah, just keep it there.
Yeah, right about there looks good. You got it?
I think the beam's going to be too big, though.
We want you to narrow
the beam.
Beam.
Okay.
It's too big for us. It's going to be way too big for them.
Absolutely. Okay. Tell me if the beam gets smaller right now.
That's what we need.
Okay, tell me if it gets smaller. There.
The beam is taking up the whole panel.
I should work on the beam first.
I think you should work on that beam first.
Are the specs on that laser that it should get to that small of a dot at that distance?
With the focuser, yeah, it should be at least less than 4 feet. Okay, I got it on a pretty tight beam, so I'm going to try and find you right now. Okay, see the light.
Yes, I definitely see that.
Same size?
People they're all leaving.
Yeah, that's okay. I know.
But we should leave.
You too.
Take 2 hours.
I know, I know, but I'm not gonna just.
You have to figure out that laser.
Yeah, I know. Bob, I'm gonna shoot it, and if you don't see it any smaller, then we're gonna have to reassess this. Is it a smaller beam?
No, it's not a smaller beam. It's the same 15 feet wide.
Man. I don't know what to do.
Not today.
You'll come back.
We have to, yeah. You just gotta figure out the way to make it work.
Well, a sellout crowd is expected in North Carolina this weekend for, get this, the Flat Earth International Conference. There's Patricia.
So excited, like Christmas Eve.
Guess you need it. Like the day you still got it. Forget it. I remember.
Later, I'm on a block right now. 30 minute block.
I still can't believe all this is really happening. Right on, man. Flat. You know, there's only a couple people that have the blackout shirts. Of course, I was there.
You're It's me. This is Hollywood for her. Well, in a way, it's me too.
Are we twinkling? There we go. I drove 1,150 miles yesterday, so...
I traveled from Ireland then to Iceland.
Oh, you came even further.
Hello, Bob. How are you? Hug or handshake or how about both? This room is big. What if I trip when I walk up there? You know, like something like that. I know. Used to the safety of you two.
Hey, is Mark here?
He's busy being Mark Sargent.
Look, I got my...
I have one too. I didn't put it on. What does it
Well,
say?
why would you put it on? It's not fashionable. You changed outfits, obviously. Hey, pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Hoping we can fill the place. I think ODD is really regretting it. And I told him, I go, the idea of Mark and Patricia as operatives is laughable. I mean, and nothing against you.
No, I get it.
You know,
it's like, come on, man. And I still don't believe it.
Anybody going to the Flat Earth Conference? Okay, first off, they're not at a real Flat Earth Conference. That's more a military play using Hollywood assets, which explains why Dennis Luca, who's playing the character Mark Sargent, owned by Joe Reel or Ralph Reel, if that's his real name, has access to interview people in the Air Force and the military.
So it's like, so you think I'm a guy named Joe or a guy named Dennis?
So I said, look, I checked out Mark Sargent. I did the forensic analysis. I've been telling you what Mark is saying is true.
Now, the sad part of this is that a lot of people bought a ticket, and they said there's no refunds. So if I were to put out a video exposing Mark Sargent, well, they'd keep the money. Now, you're probably too scared to go.
There's a lot of people not to come, and I'm like, usually, you know, because they understand, they're not going to refund. Right. It's money out the window. They're all excited. I was just like, maybe it's not a point. Maybe this is a setup, and maybe we have to be careful.
And I've been saying this for, I don't know, like since this guy showed up.
People say, because of you, I'm not going. Or because of Patricia, I'm not going.
I couldn't believe the amount of people that came to me, and they're just like, I'm in line with him. I'm going to take that stand.
I just let you call me delusional. I let you call me crazy. Why? Because I'm the one who came up with the Flat Earth.
Proudly presents
times.
This is amazing, absolutely amazing. This is a time that we've all been waiting for. This is now becoming something that cannot be ignored. Unfortunately, some people, didn't attend this year. It's okay. Look, we have our differences. We may not agree with one another, and we can choose to get all wrapped on that, or we can sit here and we can be here and we can grow saying, you know what? We all agree we're not on a spinning ball flying through space.
Amen.
This will continue to grow, this will get bigger, and honestly, change the world.
This one right here was number 2. And then this one's number 33. And then the latest one here is just a little simple one. This is number 36.
It is a privilege and an honor to bring out Jaron Campanella.
When this all started, I was looking for the truth, you guys know that, and deep down inside, I think everybody knows that it's flat.
This is called the Flat Earth Rider. This is the front brake right here. We turn the brake on, it lights the crystals up. These are models of the flat Earth. And then the latest one was this map circulating around, showing other continents outside of our world.
This is so life-affirming, and I think that this whole event is going to have a healing effect on the whole Flat Earth community.
I really liked that. That was really interesting. I got like chills from it and was like, yeah.
It's something to actually see. No, it's the house lights we're going to bring up. So don't bring up the lights. Don't bring up the lights.
Go time.
Sargent's the guy that kicked this off for me.
For me, it was the second video, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, was the infamous Flat Earth Clues.
I click on that video, and the first words I hear, this is a Reader's Digest version of the Flat Earth Theory and some of the more interesting topics.
I hear a lot of things about Mark Sargent, but one thing I can say is that Mark Sargent is one of the hardest workers in Flat Earth.
Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Love you. And I'm trying not to get emotional here because it's such a great, amazing thing to see everybody. I love the Flat Earth community. That's no lie. I love you, excited person over there. But let me be clear. I am not the father of Flat Earth, all right? All I did was walk up to a door that was already there, point at it, and say, hey, I think there's something very interesting on the other side. Right? And all you crazy people, you had to poke your head inside and take a look around. Now, here we are, 2 years later. You've taken this further than I ever would have hoped. For that, I'd like to give you my deepest and most sincere thank you. So, microphones, questions.
How long do you think it will take for this to be taught alongside the globe Earth?
I think we're almost at the critical mass point, and the media here proves that.
Within the CIA, who actually implanted you within the community? Just kidding.
Who is behind propagating the globalist lie? Is it the US government? Are other governments in collusion?
Yes, yes, and yes. All those things. All of the above. You, go!
I was wondering, how high do you think the dome is?
I wanna come and talk.